Let's go into the game, though. Daybreak is going to be the map of choice for Scarlett.
And a lot of Terrans don't like Daybreak against Zerg, actually, just because it's really tough. If you want to make any kind of pushes, Zerg's counterattack is very difficult to deal with, especially of how far the paths are from each other. So we'll see how it plays out, but we'll introduce our players right now. In the top right, we have Scarlett from Team Acer, a team that's actually full of Zergs. They have NMrUUG and all these other great people. Bly, who's also in our qualifiers. Definitely check out action if he's still in the tournament. We'll update you as the night goes on. And who do we have in the bottom left, Andre?
It is Top, who just 11-11'd right away. Now, he has shown double barracks this whole time. I mean, game 1, game 2, he showed double barracks. So I think Scarlett is going to be a little bit scared, but he's queuing up SCVs right now. It looks like he's actually going 14cc because of that.
Ooh, that's very, very meta.
Which is, yeah, which is cool. I mean,
I love that.
It's with the standard meta game, I think, but he's shown 11-11, or 12-14, 11-11. Now Scarlett's like, oh, I have to prepare for pressure. She might actually induce a little bit of economic hindrance to herself, just because she might get a slightly faster spawning pool, and because of that lose a couple of drones and not keep up with just the command center that's going to come out here.
Yeah, and I mean, as long as Scarlett plays a little bit more safe, she can get an earlier pool, for example, if she really feels like she has to deal with this. But as long as she, I guess, shuts down that bunker a lot earlier compared to last time, she kind of let it get a lot up before she was able to deal with the rest of the Marines and SCVs. She'll be okay. But of course, Scarlett scouting very, very delayed, just as most Zergs do. In fact, Scarlett's going to even send out her second Overlord just to check for proxies in normal positions, but doesn't see anything. And it's pretty much going to spot that command center very, very easily. And from there, what do you do as a Zerg player when you scout a command center first? Do you feel like you can get out as many queens as you want? Do you even take a third hatchery really quick? How would you respond on it?
Yeah, the standard is to actually follow this up similar to how you would in ZvT. So just get your third hatchery, make sure you get queens up. You're going to get a little bit more queens than normal, normally 4 or maybe sometimes 5, just so you can spread creep really, really fast. But from there, just standard follow up, utilize your queens, drone up as fast as possible, and then start the play from mid-game.
And you can see that Top is going for double barracks, but only getting 1 gas. So this is reminiscent of going for a quick factory play, even squeezing out some Hellions. You can get reactor Hellions based off of this. Greetorp, you taught me that. I'm not going to take credit for that. Greetorp has this really cool build, CC first, and you do end up only staying on 1 gas for a significant amount of time, but you're still able to get up a reasonable amount of Marines and even Stim while still pushing out a bunch of Hellions. And it's a really clever way to control the map, but Top's doing a small variant of it, playing a little bit of musical barracks.
Yeah, a little interesting. Still hasn't really gotten any sort of early game units. So it's really, really weird. There's a lot of different all-ins that can actually affect him. No third hatchery coming out here, though.
Staying on 2 base, no gas either, so Scarlett is, I guess, she's just going to push out the queens and just do a very standard 4 queen plus opening. You can see, I've seen DRG go like 7 queen on this map before, just spread creep outrageously.
Yeah.
And hit every single thing. I think that he hit like the top left corner. If he was in Scarlett's position, he would hit like the top left at like 11.5 minutes. It was something insane.
That's absurd.
It was something insane one time.
11 minutes, you normally have like maybe half the map?
Yeah.
Whoa! Look at this. Top has put a command center in the weirdest place possible. This will wall off completely.
That's actually kind of cool. That's why he rearranged his barracks again to measure it. And I like this. Top is playing very precise this series. It's very nice.
Scarlett doesn't have any indicators to know that is a third command center, though. Or the third command center is there. Unfortunate for her, because she would obviously make a lot of different reads from that and just throw down the third. Thought she was going to throw down the third way, way before this, but it's still fine. I don't mind her progression. She's still droning up and making sure she can tech accurately.
And look at this, Top's getting a tech lab immediately and rushing for siege tanks. This is something you don't see very often, but I know this happens on the EU server. I remember I saw Apollo doing this one time on stream, and he was talking about how if you go for it, you give up a lot of your aggression potential, but you, again, if you feel like you want to be really safe against, the Roach Bane, you rush these tanks as fast as you can. And of course, with Top going that fast third command center, setting up his wall, no doubt, going to play very passive and macro heavy. There's
2 ways to stop Roach Bane Zergling all-ins. One's to have just a ton of stuff. Hellions, Marines, Marauders. The other way is, of course, siege tanks. And that's why siege tanks, I think, are forced, especially when you get this third super fast like this. You're not really producing any units in the beginning. So I think all of this is actually forced from top. It will stagger a lot of his upgrades. A lot of times, the advantages of going something like Bio plus Hellions is the fact that you have a lot of excess gas. Obviously, Marines and Hellions don't cost gas, so you can put that into upgrades or into production or whatever it might be. That's not the case this time around. So one of the, I guess the weaker points of going siege tanks, but still very powerful. Yep.
And you can see that Scarlett's taking a pretty standard hatchery time, I guess, in a normal meta game. If you get around 7 minutes, you'll have it at a really comfortable time. So Scarlett's going to have a really healthy supply count, and you can see also teching up to layers. So at this point, the game resumes very normally. It's just when does top decide that he's comfortable enough to move out for that third base? It usually could be by a siege tank count. It's usually very dependent on the map as well. And I'm really curious because I struggle with this too, Andre. I don't know sometimes when I feel I can take and move out that third orbital command. It feels safe enough relative to what ZerG is doing.
This is very risky. Top really doesn't have a lot of indicators to know he can actually push out.
You see where he's moving?
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, he's gonna wall off the bottom of, or the top of the ramp that normally goes to his conventional third and take a stronger position by the watchtower. This is really interesting.
Yeah, because once you take this position a little bit later on, you actually are able to secure pretty much the top left and the mid left position. So those are kind of like free expansions because all your staging points are right here. So that's really powerful that he's doing that. But I just fear for him because he doesn't really have the material or the infrastructure ready to defend a position like that. If there were some sort of huge push, which would be super weird at this point, but if there were some sort of huge push, Scarlett would absolutely decimate his opponent. Her opponent, excuse me. From here, though, I think Scarlett is just going to play for the end game. Continuing on.
Yeah, I agree. Now, guys, if you're just tuning in, this is tied 1-1, so this is do or die at this point of the tournament. It's single elimination. And so Scarlett really has to, Top really has to do this very carefully because you lose its positioning and you lose the tanks. You lose almost everything that you've built up for because you went fast third orbital, you went fast siege tanks, and to lose that count is very devastating. And you can see that Scarlett is still not intending whatsoever putting on pressure. In fact, 11 drones and a 4th expansion, just like you said, playing for heavy endgame. But honestly, because Scarlett sees such a fast third, I mean, normally we see ZerGs are deciding to pick up a really quick hive as well in the upcoming minutes. We'll see what Scarlett chooses to do after she develops some of her upgrades.
Queen will actually see this medevac pop over here. A couple of spine crawlers or spore crawlers will be thrown down immediately. Any units? No units actually deal with this. This is really weird. Scarlett is actually going to take a little bit of damage from this incoming attack, losing at least one. No, saves the Queen, but losing a couple of ZerGlings over here.
And you can see that Scarlett doing a good job saving. It's very tenuous situation, but the Queen does end up dropping. At the same time, Top has broken down the center barrier and is now moving across, trying to see if he can pick off a lot of these creep tumors and take a strong position. As long as he can get the siege tank sieged up, he will be in a nice spot.
This is risky, Frodan. A lot of investment has actually gone away from this. The production, maybe he let 1 or 2 production cycles actually go through that. I don't think that's enough. Scarlett should be able to thrash this. We'll see if she gets a good surround because, I do have to say Top has a really great position, but it's going to be tough. No combat shield still. It's 10 seconds away. Is Scarlett going to hit by then? And it looks like she's preparing right now. Here she comes.
Oh, the flank with the Bailey trying to roll into the Marines. Top is now splitting his head. He's just running at this point. Scarlett hot on his tail, just trying to pick off anything he can. The Queen's also working onto the medevacs, but the Marine spread, the second wave of them was phenomenal, and you can see that Top now has cleared a lot of the center area. But enough ZerG reinforcements from the 3rd and 4th base will shut down the remainder of the unit. So Scarlett with a great defense, and of course you have to reward the creep spread phenomenally for allowing Scarlett to get back in position.
Here's the problem though, 2-2 is not on the way for Top. 2-2 just is about to finish for Scarlett. These 40 ZerGlings that were just made, these are going to be so powerful. They can probably kill any form of reinforcement from Top. I think if she just goes in right now, she will be able to clean up everything, but she doesn't have any indicators to know that's possible. That's what's so difficult. Medevac's just scattered all over the place, but still Scarlett is just monstrously ahead yet again, similar to game 1. I mean, she is going to be able to do anything she wants.
Man, Top really prioritizing that +1 armor, and he's getting an armory as well, so gonna focus on further upgrades, but he hasn't even focused on +1 weapons. I guess he just really wants marine durability so that the tanks can do a lot of the damage. And at this point, Top hasn't really motioned for a 4th base at all either. This is very uncharacteristic. Usually Top's overmaking command centers, and now he's kind of fallen back and trying to make this push work, but hasn't really been successful.
Yeah, and from here, Scarlett, we know she has a massive advantage. 3-3 on the way, and the armory isn't even finished, as you were talking about. I mean, this is super, super late. And from here, Scarlett, all she has to do is macro. She macros and then wins. She can go to Hive Tech. She already is at Hive Tech. Greater Spire is almost finished. And it's at the point where Top doesn't have 8 gases, at least 8 gases. He still needs to deal with upgrades and siege tanks. He needs to get siege tanks actually for those infestors. And at this time, he should have been switched to Vikings, or switching to Vikings right now, because he has to prepare for the inevitable Hive Tech.
Scarlett is also trying to just establish lane control at this point. As long as you can cover those areas with creep, you can kind of bounce back and forth. And at this point, Scarlett is establishing her full dominance, making sure to keep tabs also on any potential Terran 4th bases, which really would just be cycling as to a 3-base economy, as Top is running dry in his main. +1 and +2 is just started for Top, while +3 is already halfway done for Scarlett. If Scarlett just waits for a couple of minutes at this point, her army will just be so strong. Even her Zerglings are not going to die that fast.
It's insane. And here we go. Is Top actually going to push in here? No, he doesn't. There is a drop in the bottom right-hand corner. A lot of actually spine crawlers are going to be placed right now. This is going to be enough. The first spine crawler probably will tank a little bit. He's going to focus on the drones.
Yeah.
This will actually give, well, Top thinks it's going to give him a little bit of position, but Broodlords are inevitable, and these Broodlords popping out here basically give Scarlett the game.
Scarlett has the Broodlords finished, and Top doesn't really have that strong of an answer. He's going to load up 4 medevacs and try to evacuate the center. The fungals on the medevacs means that all of these medevacs are going to die immediate unloading, but straight into their deaths. The Zerglings Banes will clean up almost everything, and Top going to lose all of his medevacs, except for a few of them, but it doesn't even matter because they can't unload really without just dying immediately. Scarlett's going to push down the center. Oh, there's nothing really the Terran army can do against this huge Infestor Zergling Broodlord army with 3-3 about to finish. Is going to crush every single thing in its path, and Scarlett is sitting in a very comfortable supply, and Top is going to lose his 3rd base, and he's going to lose everything else. GG gets called out. Scarlett takes game number 3 and advances to the round of 64. Well, she will play it tomorrow.
Beautifully played. That's all it is. I mean, Scarlett was able to stop all of that aggression. As soon as she stopped it in this track, 2-2 kicks in, and she obviously wins the game from there. I mean, she's able to hold off all of the pressure very easily. She has good Zergling control, and once Infestors pop onto the field, it's like an instant change in how things work out. Obviously, she's able to just stop all the pressure really, really easily, slow down Top, get Broodlords out, and win the game.
Yep. I bought that button a couple of days ago, so it's really good. The GG button. It's red, Andre. It's red.
Let me press
High five. And that wraps it up, guys, for the NASL Season 4 qualifiers for today. This is the round of 256 and 128. Scarlett does advance. And, of course, we have lots of great people that have advanced. If you want, of course, you can check out more on our website, nasl.tv, about the upcoming qualifiers. Andre, do you have anything to do before we thank our sponsors, send everyone off?
You know, thanks, everybody, for tuning in, obviously. These were some great games. Make sure you just tune in tomorrow. That's all I got to say.
All right, and with that, let's go ahead and thank our sponsors. Kicking off with Epson. Epson is the #1 projector brand worldwide. For full line of projectors with brilliant image quality, Epson is the thing for you. Check it out at epson.com/gaming.
Azo monitors, of course, the monitor supplier here at the North American Star League. Check them out at azo.com/NA for more details. We use them here to watch StarCraft in beautiful 1080p ultra settings.
Yep. And thank you also to Kingston HyperX, the people who provide SSD and memory for our season. Kingston supports a lot of NASL as well as esports, so go ahead and check them out at kingston.com.
Thank you to GameMinder. Of course, GameMinder, the reminder that you can set about any upcoming games or maybe even broadcasts. If you guys love the NASL, you can do that at GameMinder. You can head on over to handleabra.com/ product/GameMinder.
Also want to thank iBuyPower, the PC company that helps power our broadcast with a lot of their technology related to the computers. Check them out if you want your own pre-assembled PC at iBuyPower.com.
And last but not least, we want to thank Twitch.tv and Tropical. They are, of course, well, Tropical, you can see that.
The music that's playing right now. And Tropical is a really cool DJ. If you're in the LA area, he plays at a lot of clubs as well.
And Twitch TV, they are esports.
Yes. Twitch.tv, you guys are watching it through them. They're the ones who make it possible. Thanks, Twitch, for everything you do. That does it pretty much for tonight's broadcast. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific. So in about 20 hours from now, we'll have another broadcast of the round of 64 and 32 with Mr. Bitter and Rotterdam. That pretty much does it for us. Andre, send us off here.
All right, guys, from everybody backstage and the casters as well, we wish you a very well adieu. Later. See you tomorrow.
Peace.